Today is the return of the reading series I'm in the middle of series. We have Powerless here. I have this, and then I have Reckless. I have Hopeless. A lot of people do not really like that much, so perhaps now I will like it. Because you know how sometimes when you go into a book with really high expectations, then you become really disappointed in it? Well, sometimes I've gone into books where my expectations are so low, and I've heard everyone say they hated it, that when I read it, I'm like, I adore this, so maybe. One thing I do like about this lady's books is, bear with me now, she has like the little like designs on the page. It's because he calls her Sonny. Basically, this book is about Jasper. He's an he's an NHL player, which means he's a hockey player. And Sloane, she is a ballerina. Now, I'm only like that far into it. Basically, she better get married, and then her husband does something, and she's like, no, I'm not getting married to him. And then he whisks her away from my wedding. He like saves her from like all the drama by like just like him and her run away. Yeah, now they're back at the ranch, the Wishing Well Ranch. Bo is also missing in action, who is part of Hopeless, and also Jasper's best friend. The characters knew each other. There's like a 6-year difference, 5-6 year difference between them. And they did know each other when they were younger, but I've heard people say that this is the only book they've read where it hasn't been weird. Like that age gap has not been weird. I mean, now they're like older. I'm really excited that she is a ballet dancer because if you don't know, I did ballet. I did it when I was younger, took a hiatus, and then picked it up when I was a little bit older, and then I stopped. I'm excited about that. Also hockey. Do you ever just wish that you could ice skate? Like, do you just like actually wish you could be one of those people that can spin around and stuff? I would love to be able to scoot around on the ice, but you know, I think it's fine. I think it's fine, and I don't know how because I live where I live. It does not snow. In fact, I've literally never seen real snow in my life, ever. And so it's not like the lakes like freeze over and I can just go skidding around on I can go sliding around on the ice. But also, I read another book, and then the colt she like crashed the ice. So what I think is really hilarious is that like Jasper is like, you got married after like 5 months. Whoa! But Kate and Willard's book, Heartless, was set over like 2 months. Also, unpopular opinion. This is an extremely unpopular opinion. I did not like Heartless. A lot of people keep harping on about Cade, and I'm just like, him? Oh, okay. As the books progress, I'm really liking Rhett. I love Summer and Willa. Even though in Willa's book, she did say a lot of things that I was just like, why would you say that? Like the comment that she made about the son having a crush on his aunt. That's weird. Cade, there was a part where I liked him briefly, but then he had to open his mouth, and I was just like, the Willow is funny because, you know, they're trying to escape the wedding. She does this little like distraction thing, and Kate was just sort of standing there, and he was a little bit funny there as well, but also, I don't know. But I can see why people like the found family. If this is only the third one, I can only imagine how it is in Reckless, and then the last one. The droopy face, sad looking dog. Alex? Alex from People We Meet on Vacation? Is that you? I'm sorry, I just finished up book last night. But, how am I reading this? As I've said before, for contemporary romances, for me to really love and appreciate it, I need the audio because the cringy lines, the things that I normally look at. Also, I've heard some people say there are some grammatical errors in this book. I don't know though, because this is the newer, like, release one. This just fell out. This is all ruined. It was so nice and pretty, now it's not. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there was these other covers, and I feel like those ones could have had mistakes in them. But so far from what I've noticed, I don't think there's any mistakes in these ones. Because, again, all the cringy lines, all the lines that, you know, I'd be like, ugh. It's just because when I was reading it, I was just getting stuck on the words that are being used and the phrases. And, you know, when you're listening, they just skip over it. So, well, they don't skip over it, but they just keep talking. So you can't even fixate on it. I will read some of it. Also, one thing I do like about her books, though, is that the writing is very big. It's really cute, this cover. I need to eat, and then I gotta go to work. But I will be listening to this while I'm getting ready and stuff. I hope you know that I'm imagining this farm scene right now, as in the one from Barnyard. The cinematic masterpiece it is. Also, why is that word used in like every single romance book? Like, why? I really like Jasper so far. He seems very, very sweet. Like what he does for the woman at the Walmart. Also, guess what? In Subway Surfers, it's a cowboy theme. So why is everything just a cowboy theme? I don't know. Well, I don't mind because it works with this video, but still. Look at this. Look at the tumbleweeds. Okay, which brother do we think this is? Is that Rhett, Cade, I don't think it's Jasper, and I don't know about Bo or the other guy. I think it's Theo. I don't even know who that is. Who's this gonna be? The Royal Champion is the prettiest. She's so pretty. Huh? Why did it sound like she was answering me then? The Wild West Queen. And let's look at the scenery. The eagle sound effect. This is kind of giving Toy Story vibes a little. Well, I actually love this. I already have enough sceneries, but I kind of am obsessed. Let me think about whether or not I want to get this. I still have 4 days. The sound effect is giving Rio. Why do I keep relating things to kids' movies? So, Sloane and Jasper are driving to deliver hay or whatever. Okay, long story, but they're passing through a town called Rose Hill, or they're passing by a town called that. Is that what Elsie Silver's new series? Is that what that is? It is time to talk about this book right here. Don't mind me just getting to where I am, because I'm like almost done this book. Yes, I'm up to chapter 30. That's Willa. I don't know. Some of the things she says, I'm just like, okay. Also, I finally changed my my background. That's what it is now. I feel like it's much better than what it has been before. Why do I feel like I'm doing a little like presentation right now? So I started off reading last night when she was at a bar with Jasper and she was drunk and she was saying a lot of things that were very cringy, and she acknowledged that it was cringy because she said that she thought it was cringy herself. And I feel like that's very relatable to be drunk and embarrass yourself to the point where the next day you're like, to the point where the next day you hate yourself. And like the next day that she woke up, she was like feeling a little bit like, why did I say that? And I'm like, yeah, why did I say that? Why did I do that? I'm never drinking ever again. Because in the moment you don't care, but the next day you do. In my opinion, this is my favorite book out of them so far. It's also purple, and I love purple. My favorite color used to be purple. Like my entire room is purple. I also love blue. What I like about the book is that it's not like just contained in the ranch. Heartless, it was very contained in the ranch. It was very much about Cade's little life on the farm. Rhett's one was a little bit more because he and Summer did have to travel for his little bull riding meet. I remember that, and there was a problem with her room, so she had to stay with him. But I think it was a problem with the air conditioning. That is beside the point. I like that it's not contained to the ranch. I like that they have to go places. But that being said, because they're not so contained at the ranch, it's not really like as much found familyness as in the sense of they're always seeing each other, but there are messages at the start of each chapter from all the family members. But I really do like the scenery, the snow, and them traveling. There were also some parts of this book that I did read. I started reading it because I was like, okay, well, am I just liking it so much because it is audio? But I will say, I think that I would have still liked this book like the same if I was reading it. For the ones who spent their lives being a little too agreeable, hear something about being comfortable disappointing other people to avoid disappointing yourself. And there was shed like a little quote in there, and I quite like that. Some thoughts I had were the poor kid's mattress, because she's in a hotel room and instead of being on bed she's like, no, I'm gonna sleep on the kid's mattress, like the kid's cot that children have slept on and that children have had accidents on, and then something happens with that mattress. So we're not getting into it. There was this ice rink scene where basically okay, so I've already talked about how there was the Rose Hill Ranch. Well, that's gonna get a series, but to deliver like the hay, because I had to deliver hay or something, they then saw everyone who I'm assuming is part of Elsie Silver's like first series. There was little cameos from all those characters, and part of me does want to read them. I said, get off the floor. I'm pretty sure that was my exact same reaction to another book where this exact same situation happened. Not exact, but like kind of enough. She's also described as having puffy lips. Every single time they mention she has puffy lips, I'm going to show you what I imagine in my mind. I wish that there was like ballet in this. It's like, oh, she's a ballet dancer, you know, we're going to get some scenes with her in this studio. And so far, no. So far, all we've been told is that she did a little bit of dancing in Summer's studio, and that she stopped dancing for like the wedding that she was supposed to have. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but I feel like this is something that I noticed at the end of Heartless. But Elsie Silver does use some like questionable terms to describe people. I like how I said that about the dancing, because then she was just in Summer's studio practicing. Just met Winter and Theo. I'm going to be reading Reckless immediately after I finish this one, because I remember Winter from the first one and she was mean, but she's getting a redemption arc. Rhett, he's a bull rider, he was mentoring Theo, and I'm excited to read that book. And I'm also excited because now she's going to be in a ballet performance. I bought it. wasn't really planning on making this video tonight, but yeah, I am. So I finished Powerless. I finished it while I was doing my little puzzle, which has been ruined by little paws kicking up against it. Oh, look at that. I've read 49 books so far this year. Okay, let me tell you my final thoughts. So at first my thinking was, what the hell is this third act breakup? And then, okay, it was resolved very quickly. It was hardly even, it was like a little tiny blip. It wasn't like one of those big gigantic problems. So I really liked remember how before I said that found family wasn't really found family in this? Well, it picked up when it was Christmas time and then at one of his games, and it was just really nice, really. Favorite book so far of the series. Oh, I can put this up here on my read books now. I was not planning on reading this book tonight, but I've already started it. And I'm reading Reckless. Now, this book, the writing is a little bit smaller, and I already told you before, but I absolutely love the little detailing, and it's got the ices. Not the ices, the snowflakes, because her name's Winter. Summer and Winter. I remember another character said that their parents must have hated them to name them that, so I'm not even gonna say anything about it because another character in the book already did. Can you believe I made that vision board last year and she's still there? It's gonna be like my just life vision board. This one is between Winter and, is that annoying? The Magnolia Parks Into the Dark book. I can't fit on my shelf. I'm gonna get new bookshelves. This book is between Winter and Theo. There's a possibility that she could be older than him because she's Summer's older sister, but Theo is like kind of young. He's like 26 something. So I mean, it's still young. No one come at me. 30 is still young, and so is 40. You know, if you're 50, you're still young. This edition, they all have flowers on them. But I got this book used. You can't even tell. You know how it's used? Yeah, you see that at the end there? Like, you see that last back page? That's why it's used. Well, the back was a bit all crinkled, but I just like to flatten that out, and you can't even tell now. I'm just in the world now, and yes, the back is a little bit cringy. Like, he's looking at me like I might be his next man. Like, yeah, that is cringe, but also I don't really care. And I like that she's smart. She's a doctor. I guess I'm gonna read this and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions, and my nails match. These nails, I've just matched every single book I've read so far. If I can find Hopeless, because even though I'm in a book buying ban, those books I will be reading like immediately, so then it's not gonna really count. I guess we'll just see wherever the wind takes us. Well, literally, what book was I reading? There's a book and it was talking about wherever the wind takes you, and I just thought that was absolutely hilarious because I have literally been saying that my entire life. Okay, not my entire life, but basically ever since I was like 12 or something, I've been saying wherever the wind takes you. I'm kind of a lot of the way through this book, and no, I've not been updating, but I have notes. Number one, I really forgot what her husband did to Summer, and it all came rushing back, but like, that man is evil, he's vile, he's despicable, and I know hate is a strong word, but I hate him. I just feel so bad for Winter. Also, at the start of this book, as this scene is playing out, like, Jasper and Sloane are just casually listening to it, and like, they didn't even realize. And then there is like a massive time jump, like 18 months, and it's like, whoa. My opinions flip-flop. At the start, I really like Theo, and I didn't like him at all. Like, at the dinner, because they have like family dinners or whatever, she's watching Jasper and Sloane, and she's like, I look at them and like, you know, it makes me sad because it's like never gonna be me. That's me. When it never does happen, I can say that I was right, and I always knew it never was going to, because I'm destined to be alone. Also, Theo, his dad died while riding a bull, and he was a little bit like, I'm gonna, you know, put my head down, I'm gonna train really hard to make my dad proud. Like, yeah, he died on a bull, but he also had a few championships. I feel like you have to be a very particular type of person to be a bull rider, especially if your dad died while bull riding. I really love the friendships with everyone, particularly her and Sloane's friendship. We got that a lot at the start, and in the last book we got like crumbs of it. See, I do my dad proud this season. He may have died riding a bull, but he did it with a couple of championships under his belt. Okay. And then something happened in this book that I was not expecting, and I've actually not had anyone talk about, so I'm not going to talk about it because I was shocked. The way that this book turned, I think like people would have talked about it. I'm only that far in, and we kind of figure out like pretty early on, like a few chapters in, it makes sense for her character and everything that she's been through, so like I'm not mad about it. The way Grey's Anatomy is mentioned in this book, a spoiler was mentioned, but it's okay because I already knew. I need to watch that. I can't just watch one episode, I have to watch all of them at once. In this book, you know, there was a situation, a miscommunication. Thanks for letting me know. I knew immediately. I actually thought it was her dad. It wasn't. It was someone else. But still, Theo has a pet chihuahua, and his name is Peter. Weren't we just talking about the Hunger Games? Everything is linked. I'm kidding. I know Peter is a very basic name, but still. Those are all my updates so far. I'm up to the part where Theo has discovered some things about the situation. So, I'm gonna get back to reading. Okay, my wonderful friends, let's talk about Reckless. So, I'm a little bit more than halfway through the book. Does anyone remember that movie series, Beverly Hills, 2 Hours? Well, whenever they keep talking about Peter, I think of them. Also, Peter sounds just so precious. I still think that Harvey, the dad, is, well, not the dad of Theo, but the dad of the others. I think that he is funny. Also, it is being set up for him to have a relationship. I wonder if he's going to get a little story. I'm very curious about Beau, because he seems very, like, sullen, and, you know, he's just come back after being missing and being badly burned. One thing I do like about Theo is that he's very protective of Winter, because a lot of people do not like Winter, and a lot of people are saying stuff about Winter, and someone was like, you know, you don't have to actually like Winter, you can just like the situation you found yourself in with Winter, you don't have to actually like her. And he was like, don't talk about her like that or I'm not going to be your friend. You know, I like that he's very protective of her. You know, he doesn't let people attack her. He stands up for her. That's what I like. Also, this is like completely irrelevant, but something I noticed in chapter 21, Sloane and Winter go get their nails done. Sloane gets a purple color. Her book is purple. And Winter gets like a pink. This is like, is this a pink? I'd say it's more like a tangerine-y, pinky color, maybe a salmon pink color, but she gets pink and I'm like, in my mind, they're getting the colors of the books. I feel like I need someone who is like Theo, and also I'm very, very happy that Winter has found someone like Theo. But the germs in the gym? Ew! And the cameras, but the cameras and the germs. The germs. I feel like some people aren't as disgusted by germs, other people's germs. Like, did you see that guy's video where he got chlamydia in his eye? And he was like, I don't know how this is happening. And the doctors were like, well, we think we know. And he's like, no, I'm like celibate. And it was because when he went to the gym, the thing that he was like putting on his eye, he was putting down on the seat, and someone who had chlamydia had sat on the seat. Was it chlamydia or was it something else? Maybe it wasn't chlamydia, maybe it was something else. Let me scroll back. But basically it was like this. The quote was like, I hate myself. Why can't I just shut up and enjoy nice things? Last night I said that this one was my favorite. I don't know, it's very hard for me to do rankings. At this point in time, I don't know, I feel like powerless, reckless, flawless, heartless. Also, I think something is totally foreshadowing because basically she gets given a pearl necklace and it's, oh, I can't say that's a spoiler. Pass on. Do you think we can get this book finished tonight?
What is she doing? She's hanging out with Alex.
The dad is hands down my favorite character, Harvey. Well, not my favorite character. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch, but you know, he's one of my favorite characters. It's good when books make you feel emotions. Last night I was reading it and it got to this one part with like a certain class. My heart dropped. When the delivery man said what he said. This book had me feeling sick at some points. There was, you know, the little bit of the conflict, and that had me annoyed, irritated, stressed out. And like, I was just like, oh, and then I was like, I went from Reckless being one of my favorites to like being dropped down significantly, but no, it's back to being one of my favorites. I'm up to the epilogue now. Well, I'm like halfway through the epilogue, so I'm gonna get that finished. But yeah, when everything started going downhill, I was a little bit irritated. No, I was very irritated, like really so much so, and there were characters that were saying things and they were just not being understanding at all, and I was just like eye twitching a little bit. So this one, no, I prefer powerless to it. One thing I will say though is that towards the end of this book, I like the other characters so much more. Like I have such a greater appreciation for them, like Rhett and Summer. Now, I don't know how I felt when I read that book, because I read that book like last year, and I remember specific scenes, I remember specific, you know, phrases and stuff that we used, but I feel like if I was to go, I'm not going to do this now, but I feel like if I was to go back and reread it at some point, I feel like I may appreciate it. That being said, I don't know what I said, and I have like literally a reading vlog of me talking about my opinions for that specific book, but like I can't go back and watch that because I can't watch myself. It's very hard for me to even edit the first time, let alone go back and watching it. So I don't really know what my thoughts were for that book. I think I said it was cringy. I think I said that Rhett was like icky me out a little bit and I didn't like being in his perspective. I feel like that's probably what I said. So maybe I won't go back and reread it, because right now Rhett, particularly just the things that he said and done, like in every book that's not been his that I can remember. So basically Heartless and Powerless and now Reckless. And then I'm like, I actually like really like him now. But that being said, I don't know what I said before. Now, the thing about Cade, what I've figured out with Willa and Cade is that they're like a match made in heaven, really, with their type of humor and the type of way that they, you know, speak to people and speak to themselves. The only like couple that like I preferred in their own book to any other books has been Sloane and Jasper. Also, something about these books is this lady, she uses the same like phrases a lot. Like the word hung the moon, you know, this person said at this person, or the dog stared at this person and it looked like they hung the moon, like as if they hung the moon. It said it so much, but I have like a little bit left of the epilogue and then I'll give you my thoughts. It's like really cute and I'm really happy with how things have like turned out in this story. Tomorrow is Reckless release date and I'm going to go and try to find it after work. The vultures, I'm the vulture. People could have gone in and, you know, already got it. I don't know, we'll see. But if I see Hopeless there, I might get it. Then this series can just be over. There is the playlist if anyone cares. Okay, so I've now officially finished Reckless, and yes, I don't have any more thoughts to add. Basically, everything I said is what I still stand for. I went to the chemist yesterday. I had to pick up whatever, it doesn't matter. They had Victoria's Secret perfumes. These are very nostalgic. Like, if you're a year 9 girl, you either had this or one of your friends had some sort of Victoria's Secret perfume. Well, at least when I was in year 9, whatever. Like, I remember you had to spray on a lot, but I don't know, this one, it wasn't sealed up. And this was the last one left of this exact one. And see that? The other ones are much more filled, so people have been using this as a little tester. So it's not like it's a brand new one, because you know sometimes brand new perfumes, you gotta like let them marinate a bit before they like actually then stick. Well, I tried using this one, and I was kind of it gave me a little bit of a headache. I'll show you what like my signature scent that I've been using, which I never really have, because I just kind of, I used to just use whatever perfume I wanted to, but now I have like a signature scent. I will show it to you. It's like layered. So I used this one here. It's this Sol de Janeiro 62 one. The only reason why I got this one was because it was given to me because my sister did not like the smell of it, so she just gave it to me for free. And then when this one runs out, I will be getting the like much bigger one. But I like the little detailing of like, can you even see it? You can't even see it, but like it's got like nice detailing there. So this is like my base scent, and then hear me out. I used this Ariana Grande one. This one here. It's called Sweet Like Candy. For the longest time, my signature scent was her, like, Moonlight one. Perfume. It's, like, the light purple one with the fuzzball. And I still have that one in... I have a little mini one in my car, and then I have, like, the big one, like, in my room. And I have a whole bunch of other perfumes, but I kind of use them whenever. The problem is, though, is that whenever I smell that Moonlight one, it just transports me back to, like, different time periods of my life. And I'm just, like... I don't know, but it smells... Like, when I lay these, they smell so good. Like, they smell so good on their own. But, like, that's my signature scent at the moment. Because, yeah, I did try to use this one. I think you need to, like, douse yourself. But I thought I did douse myself. Like, it smells really nice. Couldn't find the exact one that I'm thinking of. I think it's a pink one. But the pink one they had there was not it. I'm going. Because if you let me, I will sit here and talk for an hour straight about literally nothing that anyone cares about or wants to listen to. So, finish this. I guess I'll see you for the next book. It's either going to be Hopeless or a different book. It's about his romance between him and this bartender who's a part of this family, which basically everyone in the town hates. I'm very excited because look what I have here. I have Hopeless by Elsie, which is the last book in the Chestnut brings spring. Enough with the slurring of my words. This is the last book in the Chestnut Spring series. It follows Beau, the brother who's been like the most mysterious. Like he's been deployed, he's been missing, and a lot of people don't really like this one. If you wanted to like pause that and read it a bit. But I just wanted to give you the update that I do actually have this in my possession now. I'm very glad to get this series ticked off and that now I know what people are talking about. It's officially time to start reading this. Buddy's best. I feel like everyone is always watching me. 1984 call. Okay, so basically last night I started reading this book and today I was reading it. And essentially I'm almost completed the book. And have I given you a single thought of it? No. But look, I got new headphones. I swear everyone has these and everyone's talking about these and I've seen about 1 million people with them. So I got these ones. They're, you know, expensive, but like also I was planning on getting the Apple ones. Like I was planning on getting those. So I was preparing myself to spend like, what is it, $900 on headphones. So the fact that I was like, actually, maybe these ones. Maybe these ones. And the strange thing was, because yes, did I download TikTok? Yes, I did. But I will get to that in a second when I talk about this book because it all ties in, right? But the first video I see is a girl being like, her Apple headphones, they broke, so she's got to get new ones. They broke like after like, was it 3 years? And then people in the comments, some of them were saying get like the Sony M4. I don't know what it is. I know this is the 5 one. I just got it because also my friend, she has the navy ones and she was like, they're really good. So I've been influenced. And then the guy that I got these from, that sounded sketchy, but like in the store, the man at JB Hi-Fi, he was like to me, oh yeah, they've got the best noise cancelling headphones, but it's very strange because I've never had noise cancelling headphones. I've always only had the wires or AirPods, like that's it. Or maybe some like crappy like other things in the past. But the first thing I noticed about this, right, is something about Elsie Silver is that she always has like designs at the front of the chapters. So there's a diamond there because he gets her a diamond for the engagement ring, okay? Now, something about this book is there is a bit of an age gap. She's 22 and he's 35, and it is talked about a bit. It's been mentioned like 3 times now, the fact that she kind of calls him like a predator, the way he moves. And I know that they're talking about like lions and stuff, but please can authors stop describing their male main characters as predatory and look like a predator if they don't want to describe them that way. And you know, there's a part where he was just sort of looking over at the cows and looking at the mountain range, and he then says that he wishes that he was a cow. Honestly, sometimes I wish I was an animal too. I wish that I was really a dog or a cat or something. And then he also says that he says that cows have really long eyelashes, and then it says that Cade has really long eyelashes and that Cade looks like a cow. At the start, basically, it's really sweet and everything because like he waits for her to close the bar so she's not doing it by herself, but also within that same interaction, it's revealed that he does drunk drive home from the bar. Like, you are not just putting yourself in danger, you're putting everyone else around you in danger. And I cannot stand people who drunk drive. He's really not as like mean and closed off as what the other books and the other brothers they were painting Matt to be. Like, oh, you know, there's Bo, like he's all brooding and quiet. I keep hearing weird sounds now that I don't have my noise cancelling thing. At the start, they both kind of like each other. What is that? Sounds like someone using a blender. And I'm home alone. No, it's the dishwasher. Kind of already liked her. There's like not really like that much build up. I feel as though their reason for, you know, getting like fake engaged was I don't know how to say it, because, you know, Bo, he was missing in action. He's just come back from. They don't really get too deep into that really. They don't really talk about that too much. And he did go to a therapist, but then he stopped because he didn't like talking about it. Okay, so the way that he was so quick to be like, oh yeah, we can like pretend to be fake engaged. We can see who can prove each other wrong. I don't know. Bailey. Did I even tell you what this book was about? Bo and Bailey? Meh, whatever. But yeah, she's got a lot of trauma as well. I was just expecting like a deep emotional connection, and like I'm that far into the book. If we didn't get an emotional connection here, they'd go like swimming at night, and yeah, but like that's not an emotional connection. When they were at the bar, this is what I was thinking, right? Because he keeps going to the bar that she works at, right? I was kind of expecting them to have like deep talks at the bar, but instead she asks these really out-of-pocket questions, and the way she kind of says them, as I'm reading it, I don't know why, but it's making me think like she's saying it kind of in this like childish, immature kind of way, the way she asks questions. I was expecting them to have these like really strong, deep talks, and then a friendship builds from them at the bar, and then from there, then they start, you know, a relationship. But no, it's kind of very, I don't know, because they're not really doing anything. Like, for the most part, like, they didn't even do anything. I just was reminded of a chapter. Ew. She wants to leave the town because basically she lives in a family where her family has like a bad reputation. And you know, small towns, if there's a bad reputation, kind of everyone knows. She has a job. She's a bartender, right? But she can't get a job anywhere else. People will take down their signs and be like, no, we're not hiring, even though they obviously are, because they just don't want to hire her because of her family's reputation, right? She wants to leave, right? And have a fresh start. And he's like, you don't need a fresh start. Oh, she does need a fresh start. I feel like her family has trapped her, because at first I was like, why wouldn't she leave immediately? But I feel like she even touched this a little bit. She was feeling guilty for thinking that she was better than her family and deserved a fresh start, but she does. I didn't like when he was like, you don't need a fresh start. Like, what? Everyone in the town is judging her because of her family. She's done nothing. There's also this older man in this book, and his name is Gary. Gary's a man who frequents the bar quite a lot. I like that he's got like a little protective thing over Bailey. The fact her name is Bailey, I know it sounds really bad, but like every single time he says her name, I just think of the Dog's Purpose movie. What the hell is that nickname? Sugar what? I thought red was bad. Why does he even call her that? He said like, you know, she's like sugary, but I don't know, because they keep saying what her personality is, but then it changes all the time. It's like she's shy and she's quiet and demure, but then she says these bold, wild questions, and then it's like, oh, she's really like sugary and sweet, but then she also calls him out for his behavior when no one else does. So, you know, I know that humans are multifaceted beings, you know, but this is like a less than a 400-page romance book, right? We're being told a lot about her personality. I don't know, maybe it's people's perceptions of her. In the other books thought that she was quiet and shy and kept calling her little Bailey Jensen. And I'm just like, Ew, stop saying that. His nickname, horrendous. I will say there's like not like that many cameos of each other. This book is very centralized on Bailey and Bo, which I think makes sense for them, obviously, because she has no connection really to the other girls. Like, she's not their best friends. She only knows them because, you know, she works at the bar that they sometimes go to, and now because of Bo, but like they don't have like a separate connection. And then Bo, he was kind of isolating himself from the family. You know, he wasn't showing up to dinners and stuff, and everyone was really worried about him. So it makes sense that it's just them. This book is the last book, however. I just think that maybe in like a last book in the series, typically I think there'd be like more scenes, I think. As soon as I thought that, I said, okay, so right as I said that, they're at a family dinner. You know, like Bo was, you know, telling them, oh yeah, me and Bailey, we're together now, right? Not only together, but engaged. At first I was like, does no one have any like further questions about this? The family was just like, oh yeah, welcome Bailey to the family. And I was like, why is no one else like questioned? I feel like I'd be like, when did this happen? I think maybe also because they don't want to push him too hard because his family are very concerned about him. I think there was even a mention that they're scared that they're going to push him too far and then he's going to like just break down. Yeah, they don't want to nudge him too hard, I think was the phrasing. Harvey, he said that Bo and Bailey are dogs' names, which yes. See, I was talking about a dog's purpose. Bo does then talk to Jasper a little bit. I think this author likes writing about age gaps. Like, she makes them have like a little bit of an age gap, but then the characters freak out about it. Basically in Heartless as well, Cade, he kept talking about how he was an old man and how it was so weird for him to be attracted to Willa when she was so young and innocent. I think it was like young and innocent was like a dangerous combination for him. Powerless as well. It was slightly weird. I think in, what was it, Theo and Winter's thing, Theo was like a few years younger, maybe even a year younger. I don't know. I just know he was younger than Winter, and she was freaking out about this. I read this yesterday, but he was like thinking about how many years she's been there. I'm like, she's 22. How many years are we talking here? So are you thinking about her? For whatever reason, I really like when there's often carnival scenes in books and movies. The Euphoria carnival scene, that was a very multi-layered episode. I love Willa for standing up for basically the situation, and then Willa stands up for her. And I really liked Willa in the scene. Willa, I feel like in the most part, she's a cool character. I was like, excuse me, what is going on in the bar? Sometimes you're reading something and there'll be a scene that will really take you out of the reading experience. Chapter 26 and 27 in the bathtub. I was like, what am I reading here? I'm going to show you something. In her acknowledgements, yeah, I'm going to show you something. My assistant, Krista, do you see that? The only person I can randomly text and ask. No, it would not be. No, it would not. And this is what I said, this is so disturbing. He keeps talking about how young and innocent she is. And he thinks it's being creepy. The thing is, right, is the characters in the book themselves, when they are acknowledging and talking about how creepy they think they're being, then that makes me weirded out because they're aware of what they're doing and they're saying that it's making them feel creepy, but then they keep doing it. And I'm just like, what is this behavior? So after that scene, that situation, I had to read on my TikTok and I had to take an extraordinarily long TikTok break. Then there has been kind of like a little bit of a third act breakup, really, just a little bit. Not like that much, but there's been, you know, I don't know, it was like, wasn't really a third act breakup, and I think that there's still going to be something, but basically, he said something, talking to her, and he led it with such an odd way that she thought that she was getting kicked to the curb, but that's not how, but the way he worded it was like that. And now things are chill. I've had to take another TikTok break because, again, the word globes were used. It's this author's favorite word to use. I guess I'm just going to keep reading this. Ideally, I'd like to get this book finished today. I'm starting to get kind of just sick of the entire contemporary romance. Deep things are kind of glossed over and glazed over in this book series, not really delved into. There's not even really found family in this book. Like, there's a little bit. The parts where they're with other people are some of my favorite parts, but there's like hardly any of them. Does anyone else feel like slightly just overwhelmed by how fast series and stuff are getting like published? It's just like books are just coming out so fast. I'm also currently in the middle of like Reckless by Lauren Roberts, and I've heard a lot of people say that it feels very rushed. I don't know what's happening. My favorite parts of these books is when she's describing the scenery and the vibe of the town, and when they're all together. I used to just read whatever, and I did not care, like when I was younger. I don't even really remember buying them, both the Off-Campus series and the Briar U series. I read like a chapter of The Deal, which I have already read. I think I read that book when I was like 14, 15, and I read like the first chapter, and I just don't remember it being like that. Just some of the word choices used and stuff, and I don't know why now I'm so like caught up on that, when before I would not care, but now when things are said and done, I'm just like, ew. And it really takes me out of the reading experience. Age gaps wouldn't be a problem if the characters wouldn't obsessively talk about them all the time and make such a big deal about it, being like, oh, he's so old, oh, she's so young, oh, this, oh, that. It's like, why do they have to make it like such a big deal? all the time. And it's not even just a little bit. They make it a big deal of it all the time. To the point where even she was like, oh, you're being kind of weird with this. There's that, I don't know. This is also my meal of choice. This is so good. I need a replacement after my blue Takis. I could not for the life of me finish this book last night. What's my password? I forgot my password. There were randoms on my family's Disney Plus account. Like, basically, like, the only person who really uses Disney Plus is me. Like, I use it for shows like Criminal Minds and now Grey's Anatomy. My dad got an email being like, there are literally 5 unknown people using this. So one was my phone, one was my iPad. The rest of them were randoms. And it makes sense because I thought I was going crazy. I saw an episode, right, of a show, and then I'd come back to it and it would be like restarted. And I was always like, why is it restarting when it only happens sometimes as well? So I'm like, what's going on? And then sometimes there would be like weird shows in the, like, my list. The point is that like technically it's like under my dad's name, but everyone just uses his. You know how on Netflix it's like you have, everyone has like a different account? Well, no, Disney Plus, no, it's all the same person. It's like, whatever, not a big deal. But there'd be so many weird shows sometimes in the listing, and I got blamed for it. It was like, oh, it's probably yours. No, it's not mine. It was just a random. But how'd they get it? Basically, Bo was keeping like a secret from her. Right before the secret was revealed. All I gotta say is, now is not the time, sir. His secret, like, she's so mad about it. She's still so mad about whatever's happened, but I don't know. So I finally finished Hopeless, and I have kind of a lot to say. Not really, I have notes. My last thought was, okay, it's finished, and the third act conflict was resolved pretty quickly. I feel like there was, you know, a little bit of drama, and then it just wasn't drama. It was like, oh, actually, wait, this is a stupid reason to not want to be together, or this is a stupid reason for me to not like you. So then that was resolved pretty quickly. And don't mind my clothes, just drawing that. I wish it was deeper and they had more emotional connection, because to be honest, it's very surface level, and I wish there was more character development, and I wish there was delving into their past, and it could have been really angsty and deep, and I felt like his trauma is a bit overlooked. What happened to Bo, that would be an extraordinarily traumatizing thing, and it didn't, like, you know what I'm saying? I also feel like the other books had kind of like a main plot or a main something that was there that was sort of assisting just the relationship, whereas in this book it kind of like, what was it? It was just them, you know. And I feel like the plot could have been them working through their past, working through everything they've been through, but that just wasn't the case. Like, they were helping each other, yes, but like not emotionally. The other night I did watch like a kind of part of like a war movie. It was one that had Zac Efron in it. I feel like I've seen like a million movies with Zac Efron at the moment. I've seen that new one that he's in, and I've also seen, you know, Iron Claw. Is that what it's called? Iron Claw, the wrestling one? Yeah, and I've seen that one. That movie made me cry. She's pretty weird about her age, the way Kate is in Heartless, but Heartless was more. Why is this so crooked? In Heartless, they definitely joked about it a lot, which then, you know, added up to just how much they were talking about it. This book could have been really good. I wish there was more with Bailey's family, because we were told about all this stuff, and there's a few scenes with them, but like not many, and I kind of wish there was more. We weren't just like told stuff. Maybe even some flashback scenes. This is more like critiques that I have. I'm going to rapid fire these because I've kind of already touched on them a little bit before. There are cringy lines. She does have immaturity. There are weird scenes. The nicknames are annoying. The way they keep talking about the age gap is annoying. This author also writes a lot of scenes in public where they could be caught. I've noticed that in so many of the books, there's so many scenes where it could be like they're in public and, you know, someone could catch them in the act. I don't think that this should have been the ending book. At least at the end of the book, they were like, I think we need therapy. Bailey said that if she could afford it, she'd get therapy. And overall, the family dynamic of everyone is sweet, and I'm glad that Harvey is getting a happy ending. Now, those are literally all my notes. To give a final thing, I'm really glad that I've finished this series, that there is a series now that I have finished. Do I regret reading these books? No, I haven't, just because I've heard so many people talk about them. I'm just glad now that I know. Yeah, now I'm going to read something else. You know, finishing series I'm in the middle of. We've actually finished a series. This is exciting.